This thing is hunting us. All of us. You know that.
What the hell do you think you're doing?
You're gonna need everyone.
I'm taking her back. We're out of here in 5 minutes.
We're not going yet.
Look, the rendezvous is 10 to 12 miles away from here. You think the chopper's gonna wait?
Dylan! We make a stand now.
Or there will be nobody left to go to the chopper.
There is something else. When the big man was killed, you must have wanted it. Its blood was on the leaves.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Welcome to Predator Minute, the podcast that breaks down the 1987 action sci-fi classic Predator 1 minute at a time. I'm John Zabriskie.
And I am Jeff Glover.
And how are you doing today, Jeff?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good, very good. I have a 4-day weekend coming up.
Lucky.
We're recording this on a Thursday night. I'm taking tomorrow off, and I have Monday off for Veterans Day. Because as teachers, we get random days off that no one other people don't get.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I'm doing pretty good. I got myself a little beverage here. A little Glenlivet on ice tonight.
Ah, he's on ice.
Ice to meet you.
I was going to say that.
I stole it.
The Ice Age.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
My students did this project the other day where they had to make a storyboard using Paleolithic and Neolithic terms like hunting and gathering and nomads, and one of them was Ice Age. And every time I'd have to say that, I'd always just kind of yell it, like, "What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
The Ice Age!
The Ice Age!
And then I'd freeze all the students with my ice gun. Oh, it's great.
Then you were like, let's kick some ice.
Let's kick some ice.
Chill out.
Chill.
All right, we're on this chilly November night. Hey, we're talking minute 62 of Predator. Minute 62 opens with Dutch saying to Anna, "This thing is hunting us, all of us." And it ends with the second most muscular scene in cinema history.
They are flexing, really straining. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll get to it because they're going to pull on some trees and move some shit around. But yeah, they're in full like veiny bicep mode.
Yep.
Yeah. It looks like my thigh. If my thigh was in shape, if my thigh wasn't just white and gross.
That's what it looked like pulling down a tree.
Like. Yeah. It would look like my thigh if it was the opposite of my thigh.
I'm trying not to picture this, but we'll post a picture. We'll post a picture of Jeff's thigh on the listeners' palapa.
Come join us in the listeners' palapa, where I'll post a picture of my disgusting thigh.
Some hairy man thighs.
Like sparsely hairy, white, flabby. It's quite unattractive.
I forget where we're going with this, but why don't you start us off on what's happening in this minute?
Stop talking about my thighs. All right. So the first part of this minute is about 36 seconds long. Of course, we carry over from last minute. Dutch is holding a knife pointed at Anna and talking to her. Mm-hmm. We get a full conversation here, and I assume we're going to do a dramatic line read in a moment.
Dramatic line read.
We need, after that, do you have a sound drop of like a ting?
Oh, that seems like that'd be pretty easy.
Dramatic line read. Ting.
I think that's it. I don't even have to add anything. It's just that.
That's it right there.
I'll just save that as the ting. Yep.
Perfect. So we get a long conversation here, which we'll get into, ending with one of the most famous quotes from the film. Mm-hmm. And then Dutch looks back at Anna.
Back.
As he delivers this line, and then that kind of kicks off the next half of the minute. So we should backtrack here and talk about this a little.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah. Should we dramatic line read first? Because we should probably get the dialogue out of the way so we can.
Yeah, let's really tell the people like what the characters are saying. What's the whole conversation about? So you are obviously Dutch. You're always Dutch. We're going Dutch.
Chill out.
The Ice Age.
The Ice Age!
I'll play the role of Dylan.
Dylan!
And let's see. Do you want Anna, or do I want Anna or Anna?
I think you should jump in as Anna. Like the way the conversation goes, that makes more sense if you're up for that.
Yeah, because Dutch like sandwiches Dylan's lines, and then Dutch sandwiches Anna's lines. He's just making sandwiches out of all the team here.
Yeah, just a big old sweaty sandwich.
Meaty sandwich.
All right. Dramatic line read.
Ding.
Ding. This thing is hunting us. All of us. And you know that.
Cut her restraints. What the hell do you think you're doing?
We need everyone.
I'm taking her back. We're out of here in 5 minutes.
We're not going yet.
Look, the rendezvous is 10 to 12 miles away from here. You think the chopper's going to wait?
Dylan! Make a stand. Dylan! Make a stand now, or there will be nobody left to go to the chopper.
There is something else. When the big man was killed, you must have wounded it. Its blood was on the leaves.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
And scene.
Dramatic line read.
Ding. Nice.
Well done, us.
Hey, yeah, way to go, us.
Yeah.
Hands clasped.
So we get kind of a carryover conversation here. Dutch is continuing to insist that this thing, last minute, we talked about how he has had the revelation that it's kind of climbing through the trees. And here he is saying it's hunting us, all of us, saying that we need everybody on the same team, even Anna, who is their captive. He's basically kind of saying here, she's one of us now. We all just need to survive.
It's a real good turn for Dutch to be further showing his leadership. Just keep coming back to this theme of him showing his leadership. But one way you can show leadership is put trust in the right people. And he's doing that here, which obviously goes against Dylan's MO, where Dylan must be coming from the standpoint of when we capture an enemy, then we're going to keep that enemy and use them as leverage or for intelligence purposes. Dylan's not really seeing beyond. Well, no, I guess I have to say that backwards. Dylan is not being in the present so much as he's like thinking the long term, like how's that going to reflect on him if they're freeing a prisoner and the prisoner is helping them escape some other enemy.
Yeah, he's still like just clinging to whatever kind of code or rules that he thinks he should follow. He's even at this point, he's trying to kind of follow chain of command, and he has what he considers to be a POW. So what do you do with a POW? You would never let them free, right? So once again, he's kind of playing the contrarian here to everything that's going on. And once again, Anna and Dutch kind of end up ignoring him in this scene.
Yep.
I mean, even, when Anna pops into the frame, and you mentioned the good framing on this conversation, which I agree. But she pops into this frame. Dylan kind of fades into the background, and he's got that, gives her like the little side eye there.
Yep.
But the camera kind of focuses on Anna, and you get a little back and forth with her and Dutch. You kind of see on Dylan's face that he's losing. Oh
yeah, he's just losing left and right. Dutch. If you notice, Dutch cuts her restraints and he immediately turns away. He doesn't look to Dylan for approval. He's just on to the next thing, saying, that we need everyone. It's interesting. When he cuts her restraints, he doesn't give her any commands. Like, she might be a new member of the team, but he's not commanding her, and he's not right away obviously giving her a job. It is interesting to see what her job would be as they're going to come up with the next phase of their plan. What are they going to do next, Is this the first time, and correct me if I'm wrong, is this the first time that we get some specifics about how far they need to go? Because Dylan says the rendezvous is 10 to 12 miles away from here. You think the chopper's going to wait. I feel like that's the first time we've really heard exactly what their plan is. Yeah, I feel like that too. They gave like some timing and a Sector 3000 or something like that a few minutes ago on the radio, but there was no... Damn bastards.
Damn bastards.
There is no location given to us, the audience, and he's saying 10 to 12 miles away. Right? We don't know much beyond that, and I don't even know how long that would take to traverse this jungle for 10 to 12 miles. It might take an all-day effort to do that with the slow speed, even
super rugged terrain.
Right, super rugged terrain. That's not even taking into account the predator hunting them. The predator hunting them seems to be still eluding Dylan at this point. Like Dutch just needs to put a knife in Dylan here and say, "You stick around here. You
Stick around.
be the bait, and you distract this thing hunting us while we make the break for the chopper."
Yeah, speaking of Choppa, I had forgotten that we get a Choppa line like before the iconic Choppa line.
Get to the chopper!
Yeah, and the way he delivers this, I made this note, but he says,
Dylan! We make a stand now.
Where there would be nobody left to go to the chopper.
Yeah.
it's as if he delivered the get to the chopper line before this.
Mm-hmm.
Get to the chopper!
Where there would be nobody left to go to the chopper.
Or I don't know. Obviously, he was responding to Dylan's chopper line right here, but like just the...
It could have been filmed before this, though. Like,
yeah, it could have been
like behind the curtain. So maybe he had that cadence in his voice already, or maybe he's just Arnold. And that's how he always says "choppa" in his entire life.
Yeah, if you're to tell someone that felt maybe fairly familiar with this movie, you could surprise them with that. You could surprise them with that bit of trivia. How he does mention the choppa a little bit earlier on, about 15 minutes earlier than the iconic line. Let's see what else. I like the reference to Blaine being killed. She just calls him the big man.
The big man.
Big man.
The big man was killed.
The big man was killed.
When the big man was killed.
Mm-hmm. So another homage to Blaine, and Blaine getting most of the love when they talk about their fallen comrades. And Hawkins is mentioned once or twice post-mortem, but or posthumously, but Blaine has been receiving a lot of the attention.
I ain't got time to bleed.
And then we close out with one of the most famous lines from the movie, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we got "stick around."
Stick around.
We've got
Dylan.
Dylan!
But what am I forgetting?
Mac.
Mac. Stick around and I was thinking "ain't got time to bleed."
Yeah, I ain't got time to bleed.
That's the one that was on the tip of my tongue.
I ain't got time to bleed.
And so I feel like those two are the kind of the big ones, and then of course "get to the chopper."
Get to the chopper!
And then the other one, "if it bleeds, we can kill it."
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Do you have like some like memories of this line, or is this one that has always stood out to you when you watch this film?
I enjoy this line. My favorite line still remains "stick around," and my favorite minute revolves around that "stick around" minute, because he also said "knock knock" right before he unloaded his weapon and into Spinelli Thorson's gut. Yeah. Knock knock.
Knock knock.
But I really, really like it. This is not a comic line. It's an iconic line with all sorts of menace now coming from the team's perspective towards the Predator. It's him thinking and maybe trying to inspire his own team by saying this. He's not joking with them. He's simply saying, if we can hurt this thing, then we can end it. We can kill it.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
It also signifies a turning point. Like, they're not just going to try to survive and hide from it. They're going to actively try to battle it. Mm-hmm. Right? With that one line, he's saying, we're going to try to get it before it gets us. Mm-hmm. And I think that's an important turning point. It's part of the revelation he's had in the last minute or two about this thing, whatever it is, being deadly, flying through the trees. It's killing us like a hunter would. So he's just sort of made the decision right here. Well, we're going to try to get it.
Yeah. And I was trying to look up places where this phrase has been used before, because I feel like it's a commonly known phrase from this movie. I couldn't find a lot. One was the name of the making of the film for Predator.
Like the documentary.
Right, the documentary.
Okay.
Can't even think of the word. The making of movie, where they document things. When I searched up If It Bleeds, We Can Kill It, a 2018 song by a power metal band named Dragony appeared. It's a funny little music video. Dragony.
Is that like a adjective?
It's like dragon with like a Y at the end.
I'm a little dragony today.
Yeah, a little dragony. You'll be a little dragony after your day off tomorrow.
That's right.
Just in a good way.
It's a little dragony.
I think they're an Austrian band, so they kind of have that European goofy flair about them, despite them rocking out with awesome guitars and whatever else you rock out with. But the video shows the band running around with weapons and nunchucks and making traps, but they're all falling one by one to this unseen enemy, all while just rocking out in the cutaways.
Nice.
To the song "If It Bleeds, We Can Kill It," and it talks about hunters and it talks about predators. So it's a nifty little song to make lots of references.
Yeah, do kind of push the line and not cross over into copyright.
Right? No, not a, yeah. I mean, it sounds like totally original lyrics and music.
Yeah.
So they don't have any actual Predator music or anything else. The other thing I just now thought of was there is a Predator musical, like a really short video, 3.5 minutes. It looks like put out by a YouTuber named Lego Lambs, or MIP Lambs. I don't know if that's a capital. Oh, it's a capital L. Made by Lego Lambs. Sorry for the stretching out here. But at one point when they're making the traps in this short video and they're using clips from the movie, you can hear them just kind of repeating the chorus of "If it bleeds, we can kill it. If it bleeds, we can kill it." It's very, very Broadway parodying here.
If it bleeds, we can kill it. An expendable asset. Yeah, now take a stand. I woke up, why don't you? So instead of complaining,
Out bullshit's not gonna
you should
work.
give us a hand.
I got nothing better to do.
I saw it. God damn it, those eyes, they disappeared. It cut down my friend and it ran while I emptied that gun. If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Are you all right?
I would go see a Predator musical.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely.
That would be great.
Yeah, building up all that tension and like the characters and like
There would have to be a song where they just went Mac, 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 Mac.
Mac, 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 Mac,
Mac, Mac, Mac, Mac, Mac, Mac.
just like
Dylan.
We'll make it happen.
yeah, and for this episode, I'll make sure to put a little 10 or 15 second clip of this video where they're saying, if it bleeds, we can kill it.
Nice.
It's a nice little thing. Last thing I'll leave with this first part is, I don't know how I missed this in the past, but when I watch it, around second 14 where Dylan is yelling at Dutch and Dutch is talking back down to Dylan,
Yeah.
Dutch's body looks normal, but his face, when he's looking at Dylan from this kind of wide shot, totally looks superimposed. I would put my money on it that this shot was superimposed because his face is kind of like moving around a little bit, like against his static body. And they have the "If it bleeds, we can kill it" line a couple seconds later when it shows a close-up, and that's his normal speaking face, and there's no 80s Photoshop going on. But when he's first saying, Dylan, we can make a stand now or there will be nobody left to go to the chopper. It is looking bad.
It's weird. I had never noticed this before, and I stared at this piece of this clip for a long time. I'm almost feeling like it's maybe a green screen shot. Like his whole body looks like it's, if you look at like the seam of his body compared to the background, the whole thing looks a little odd. Definitely his head. I don't know.
My guess is
so strange.
So I think this kind of plays into my theory before about the timing of the lines in the movie. My theory is that he had different lines here, talking back to Dylan. Who knows what he was saying?
Yeah.
And so when they went to cut this, they didn't really like his lines there. These lines are not in this exchange is not in the original script, so they're coming up with different things. I didn't look at the second script, but if I looked at the second script, the one that was closer to shooting, it might be a little bit more revealing. But if they're adding this later as like a superimposed green screen-esque cut in, then it does make sense. It makes more sense that he says there will be nobody left to go to the chopper.
Right.
if they filmed the get to the chopper line before it.
Yeah, it's really strange because this whole film has done a really good job of like making you feel like you're in the jungle, and this is the only time I can think of that the way the shot is composed kind of pulls you out of that. But it's also really fast, so
yeah,
if you're not watching it minute by minute, you probably wouldn't catch it.
Yeah, definitely, you definitely wouldn't catch it. It's just the lighting stands out to me. His face looks all brightly lit, and the body looks more like lit by the whatever lighting they had on set at that time.
Yeah, there's something fishy going on there. A little weird.
Something fishy.
All right, well, should we talk about the second part here?
The second part begins around 37 seconds, and it cuts right to the team, well, making some more traps, kind of like they're doing during the nighttime camp scene. But this time they're using a tree after Mac is shown setting up another Claymore mine, maybe the same one he set up before, and it just didn't set off because we saw the flare set off the first time. But we see great shot of Billy and Dutch starting to pull down a tree.
Oh,
and
good shot.
A great shot. We see them really Boy Scouting things, like throwing a rope over a tree branch so that they can gain the leverage and pull that tree down. Who knows what that tree is going to be used for? Maybe like a hilarious trap like Homer and Bart set in The Simpsons where they launch that rabbit when they're out in the wild.
This young sapling ought to do the trick.
What are we going to do, hang ourselves?
No! This is a trap. It's going to catch us our dinner. Come on, boy.
Shh. Just watch.
Ooh.
Aha! Got him.
It's from the early seasons of Simpsons. But it kind of goes from there, and that's the end of the minute once they start pulling that tree down.
Yeah, they're really yanking that. It's a big ass tree too, and they're like bending the whole bad boy down there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, you get some big old Jeff Glover thigh muscles on mostly Dutch, but you get a little from Billy. He's helping.
Yeah, Billy's packing some heat there too. I'd say he's kind of more the bulky frame versus the bodybuilder frame.
And we get like you said, we get the reappearance of the Claymore Mine, and we get Mac seems to be back to his
Mac.
Back to true form here. He's I like how he's like holding this little stick in his teeth and then like sticks it into the mine there. I don't know. It's like a kind of
it says point front towards enemy and his face facing right at it. Like, I'm doing it.
right.
I'm the enemy.
I am the enemy. We get a nice like shot of them throwing the rope up there and then yanking on the tree. So it's cool. We'll get more of this sequence as we get into next week. But
definitely
a nice little start. And that score really stings in right there. I know you had some to add about the score. It really kind of like, as soon as they start doing this, it's like, and then it's just going. Yeah.
This is, I talked about this a few minutes ago. What are we, 60? Well, it's like 20 minutes ago. Holy cow. Quite a long time ago. But I mentioned this when Hawkins is chasing Anna through the woods shortly before Hawkins is killed by the Predator. You hear this driving score as that is happening. The same score pops into play here at second 37 as the team is starting to set some traps.
Yeah, it's those low piano keys, right? Dun 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 dun. It's really good. I like it. It kind of gets you excited. As soon as you hear it, you start to get excited. They start setting up these traps. I love a movie with a bunch of traps.
It's a trap.
I love like montage sequences of people like setting up traps. I think it's why I like heist movies, like bank robbery movies. I love sequences where we get like a montage or kind of a dialogue-less sequence where we just see people like doing cool stuff.
Yeah.
I love that kind of stuff. So like when this sequence started, I was like, oh yeah, we're getting into something cool here.
Do you have speaking of traps, do you have a favorite traps scene or from a movie, or we can talk about that next minute?
I don't know about traps, but just the other day I was thinking about heist movies, and I can't remember why, because I'm a sucker for heist movies or just movies about people breaking into places. And it made me think of the, what was it, mid-90s crime comedy thriller starring Robert Redford, Sneakers. Are you a fan of Sneakers?
I think I saw Sneakers back in the mid-90s,
Oh,
but
wow.
that was it.
We had a copy of Sneakers on VHS in my house when I was a teenager. So I watched it a lot, and it holds up. It's still super fun. It's a really good. So Sneakers is about a team of people who break into people's places to test their security. So the whole opening sequence of the movie is them like breaking into this bank, and it's like a little bait and switch because you think they're breaking into the bank, and then it cuts to them getting paid a bunch of money from the bank owner, and Robert Redford is like explaining all the different ways they were able to compromise their system.
Okay.
So it's super fun. And then like the story goes from there. They end up kind of getting his team of people gets wrapped up in this kind of whole like espionage kind of storyline where they have to use their skills to find a black box that's important. Anyway, and it's fun. Like Dan Aykroyd is in it for comic relief, and I don't know. I just went off on a Sneakers tangent there, but I like that movie. I feel like it's underrated. Like more people should see Sneakers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I like to wear sneakers, so I think it's a good match.
Yeah.
There you go. I'll have to check that one out sometime, because
Yeah, you got me talking about sneakers, and I just went off the rails there.
Because we were talking about traps, so one thing leads to another, and then traps,
and then
we're
also talking about sneakers. Yeah.
Sneakers. I always like the Home Alone traps myself, like just how gloriously brutal and violent those must have been.
I know. When he steps on the nail.
I know.
And his foot is already covered in tar. That always bothered me. Yeah.
For some reason, the tar makes it way worse.
Way worse.
It's not like the nail's going to stick more because it's tar, but just the fact that it's tar, it's like, oh.
Well, and you think about when he pulls the nail out, and then his wound is covered in tar. Like, that's not sanitary.
That hurts. That hurts to think about. Okay, so
all right,
traps. What do you think of the team's glove game here? I noticed that Mac and Dutch both have fingerless gloves, and Billy has the full like hard cloth work glove or hard sheepskin work gloves here.
Yeah, they do. They went fingerless. It's like that weird guy that you knew in high school with the fingerless gloves. But their glove game is strong. Like they are. It's utilitarian. It's serving a purpose here. Yeah. Yeah. It's not just to intimidate like that weird guy in your high school.
Right. That guy always gave weird back rubs. Did you?
Yeah. It seemed inappropriate, didn't it? I mean, I never said no. I was pretty stressed out. So
right. And that guy's kind of scary with the fingerless gloves. You don't want to say no. He just...
Right.
All right. Just relieve some stress.
I did draw the line when he took off all his clothes and asked to go into the Russian steam room, though.
Was he still wearing the gloves, though?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay, good. Probably for the best.
The gloves never come off. It's like his high heels.
Oh, Lordy. Oh, man.
Strong glove game.
Have you ever... No glove, no love.
Hey.
How about that? Hey. Have you ever set a trap for anything that you can recall? I have a trap story.
Ooh, you go. Give me your trap story. I'll think and see if I can think of something.
Okay, so Sarah's mom really likes to have like doves on the property. So she's always like had some kind of animal or pigeons or doves or livestock on their property that she's taken care of in cages. And a long time ago, this must be like 10, 11 years now, kind of like around the time when I first knew Sarah. Sarah calls me and tells me that her mom is freaking out because some of the doves escaped, but they're all just kind of hanging around the property. And so one by one, the doves are just flying back into the cage, and then Holly would trap them. But then at one point in the day, Sarah asked if I'll just join Sarah on the property and try to catch the doves. And so we're we're patient and we're kind of waiting off in the weeds a little bit and just hanging back and watching as the doves fly close to the cage or into the cage, and we make sure to lock it in. And the next one approaches, we lock it in. And then at one point, Sarah leaves and just says, like, will you just kind of be on hand just to see, like, for the next, who knows, like half hour, and this is before
Will you
kids.
watch the doves?
Yeah. I was just kind of like, I was hanging back and I actually made a trap for the doves and put some birdseed on the ground and waited about, 50 feet away with the string. I was going to pull the string and have the box land on the dove. And then
did the whole box with a stick and a string?
I did.
Nice.
It didn't work, but I felt pretty proud of my ingenuity.
Yeah. That's the classic. That's like the Looney Tunes trap.
Exactly. Yeah. Not like this trap, which we'll learn what it's supposed to do in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah. I don't have a good trap story.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. No, I was racking my brain. I've set mouse traps before.
Oh, sure.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah. Let's see. Oh, I had a logistics question for you, because last minute begins and they're clearly just walking around the campsite that they just, that was just violated by the predator who stole Blaine's body. When they're setting up this tree trap here at the end of this minute, are they still just like right next to the same camp?
I think so. I mean, we haven't really had time to move, right? Because we got the whole shot of the morning fog. Mm-hmm. And the conversation they're having here continues to have fog rolling in the background and throughout the scene. So I assume the timeline is just continuous. And then they just jump straight to them setting traps. So I just assume it's like now mid-morning, right? And they're just and so I don't know. I guess because they've already been shown setting mines and flares and stuff. And I guess some of those went off when the pig came into the camp. But maybe now it's just like round 2, and now we're going to set some more elaborate ones up. Maybe they're going to be more aggressive in their placement, not to just like defend, but to attack. So that's kind of how I took it. But I think logistically, I think they are in the same spot.
Okay, it's just hard to tell with the time jump here, and then later on in the next few minutes, I don't think there's any telltale signs that this is the same place. We'll have to keep a lookout for it to see if there is anything that gives it away that tells us it's the same place as they stayed. Because if it's the same place they stayed, that's like really bold of them to, right? It's really challenging the predator to just really come get them. Like, we haven't even moved and we're still here.
Right.
We're still standing. Is this the same tree? Okay, last couple things. Is this the same tree that they throw the rope in? It looks like a different tree, and I'm sure that's just to make it so you could actually pull it on a tree, because the rope they throw, or the tree they throw the rope over initially, looks like a pretty massive, gnarly tree.
Yeah, like really thick. You're right. Yeah. And then they show him pulling on this thing. No, that's not the same tree.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, that was just like almost like a B-roll shot of a guy throwing a rope over a tree. It's like they just like shot that on the side. No, it's definitely not the same. You're right. I didn't notice that, but yeah, that first tree is like this huge trunk. That thing does not look like it's bending.
Yeah, like you could maybe set a tire swing on that first one they're throwing it on. It's pretty thick.
Right. No, that's definitely different.
Two T's, two C's.
Yeah. You found a continuity goof. Nice.
Oh, goofed ya.
A goofy.
Yeah. Let's see. This is the practice mine that they're using instead of a real mine that they emptied out all the explosives from. You can tell because the green paint is chipped away, and you can see the blue practice mine paint underneath.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Oh no.
Excuse me. Yes, I was going to say, good catch. I saw that in your notes, and I would not have noticed that myself.
I didn't either. I grabbed that from the IMDb firearms page for Predator.
Oh, thanks, IMDb firearms.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. It's a whole subculture of nerds. I love it. Like, you're so into movies, but you're also so into the firearms and the explosives and the knives. Love it.
I only want to talk about John McTiernan's commentary if it involves more diarrhea.
Oh.
I'm joking.
Okay. Oh, I'll just say diarrhea. So John McTiernan in the commentary after he's talked about diarrhea, Jeff, he's talking. Does someone sit on a duck? He's talking about this old William Holden, John Wayne movie, The Horse Soldiers. Have you seen this one? I haven't.
I have not. Never heard of it. Yeah.
Directed by John Ford, longtime Western and other movie classics director. McTiernan talks about how the two characters Wayne and Holden play just hate each other all throughout the movie. They're insulting each other. They're getting into fist fights with each other, but they still have this mutual respect for one another, where it turns into more of a friendship or a frenemy ship than just open hostility throughout the whole movie. And he claims he used that to change the script from Dylan being the hated, malicious, uncouth, conniving bad guy to having a redemption arc. And I think that was a good change for the movie to put Dylan at odds at first, but then to have an opportunity to come around and have some redemption by the end of the movie.
It is, because in the end, you're wanting the audience to root for everyone to survive, right? Mm-hmm. And so no one, no matter what their personality flaws are, deserves to die at the hands of the predator. Well, maybe not no one, but no one on this team. Right? Even Dylan. So it was a smart choice. I agree with that.
Last thing is a script difference. I don't know if I mentioned this last minute, but instead of Dutch cutting Anna's restraints, in the original script, it's Mac who cuts her restraints and says, I've seen it. Mac. And he's saying, I've seen it too, when he's talking to her. So they're sharing a little moment, a little commonality. They've both seen the predator. So he's believing her so much, he's setting her free. And that is at the end of the vine scene, the crazy, like Indiana Jones falling into the vine scene. Right. He's really freeing her for practical purposes to help the team pull up Dylan at the end of that vine scene.
I think it's better they had Dutch do it. Again, I think I agree with the change. If Mac was doing it, it would feel like it was Mac, kind of subversive, like he was breaking the rules, doing it on the sly, right? Yes. But with Dutch doing it, Dutch is in charge. He's in command. By him doing it, he's saying that this is what needs to happen. This is the right move, and it doesn't feel like he's trying to deceive anybody.
Cool. I think we have talked about the whole minute. Unless you had anything else, Jeff.
I got nothing, and I got no more whiskey, so we do need to wrap it up. I know.
No more Stan Vanette. What's his name?
Glenn Levitt.
Jack Daniels.
Jack Daniels.
Sorry, Lynn Vanette. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Glenn. This is a very common, popular kind of whiskey, John.
Okay.
Glenn Levitt.
Glenn Levitt.
Yeah, there it is.
I'm not a whiskey guy. I'm more like an Ultra Boost guy, all right? I can tell you all about the upcoming Ultra Boost 20s.
But this is like me being like, what was the bounty hunter? Bobby Fat? What was his name?
You know his name was... Fat Bobby.
Fat Bobby, that was it. That's it.
Fat Bobby. Well, because bounty hunters are fat. Is that what you're saying? Are you dissing on bounty hunters like real life ones? How dare you?
They're all fat.
They are. It's pretty gross.
Or if you see one, you have to stop and watch. Kind of like if you see a fat place kicker in a football
game. Have you ever seen one? Have you ever seen like a bounty hunter in real life?
I have not. Only on TV.
Yeah.
Like I've seen the reality shows of bounty hunters.
Right.
You know, but never in real life. No.
Patton Oswalt has a really good bit on bounty hunters. Maybe that's where I'm gaining all my bounty hunter fat knowledge from.
I need to listen to more Patton Oswalt stand up because every time I hear it, it's hilarious.
Oh, yeah. I'll if we're in the recommends, I'll go ahead and recommend his latest stand up. I can't think of the name right now. I'll Google it.
Ooh, let's jump right in.
Yeah, let's jump right into the recommends.
Recommends. Dude, what were we talking about?
We're talking about weekly recommends. So did you have a recommend you want to recommend?
My recommend is general and then specific.
Okay.
I'm going to recommend the next time you have a day off and your kids are in school and you're able to do whatever you want with your day, that you skip your breakfast, go out for a barbecue lunch and make it a really big barbecue lunch. And I'm going to recommend, my recommend is now specific because I'm going to recommend a barbecue joint that's in the Pacific Northwest here in the Seattle area. And it is called Briley's. And if
Briley's with a B?
With a B. Briley's. Briley's. And Briley's, if you live in this area, you know Lake City Way. Briley's is on Lake City Way. Has a great view of Lake Washington. And they have just fantastic classic barbecue. And when I go there, I cannot not get the baby back ribs. They are amazing.
Oh, I'm looking at pictures right now, and I'm like really hungry all of a sudden.
Yeah,
Nice.
they're so good. It's a little spendy for a lunch, but treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
So I usually get a kind of a combo platter where you can choose one meat and 2 sides. And so I like to get a half rack of ribs and then choose 2 sides. And I'd mix up the sides because they have a lot to choose from. Although I find myself constantly going back to their baked beans that have big old chunks of like pork belly in them. And it's so good. So if you live in the Pacific Northwest, or if you come visit Seattle, if you're on a trip and you come visit Seattle, go to Briley's on Lake City Way. Have some barbecue. There's my weekly recommend.
Oh my gosh, can't believe we're recommending food. People are going to be crisscrossing the highway in their SUVs to make a beeline toward the next BBQ place. Oh my gosh, now I'm hungry. I shouldn't have looked at pictures, but it looks like so good. Oh, they have like whole sandwiches with like sausages and pulled pork on it.
Yeah, their sandwiches are amazing. Next time we both have a day off together, we should go hang out. Maybe go get some barbecue, see a movie.
Done.
Yeah.
Done. Eve is a strong appreciator of the fine dining, as in like really bad food for you, and it's so lovely to introduce her to all these things. Like, now try this piece of pizza. Try this piece of pizza.
That's awesome because my oldest daughter's kind of picky when it comes to restaurant food, so I don't think she would eat much at a barbecue place. Well, she might. I don't know. I've never taken her.
Huh. We'll take the kiddos.
Girls? That'd be fun.
I take the girls. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go right now. And when do they close? They're probably closed now. All right.
Yeah.
So Briley's Barbecue and Grill.
Yes. Lake City Way, Seattle, Washington. Check it out.
Check it out. My recommend would be Patton Oswalt's latest stand-up called Annihilation. I watched this on Netflix a few weeks ago, and if you know about Patton Oswalt's personal life, you know that his wife just suddenly died one day a few years ago. It was either 2016 or 2017.
Yeah, a brain tumor, right?
I think
Something
so.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I should know more, but he focuses so well in this stand-up on how to deal with loss, but in the patented, I can't even say it, in his trademark Patton Oswalt sarcasm and humor mixed with the heart. If you're a Trump fan, it's probably not the best stand-up to listen to all the way through, unless like you can actually joke about Trump, and maybe you can. That's awesome. But he pokes all sorts of fun and searing hot fun, I guess you could say. He pokes at the Trump era. But yeah, I would go check it out. It's on Netflix. I remember just being blown away listening to it, because I listened to his early stuff many years ago, and I just would listen to that on loop. And like some of the later things, I listen to bits and pieces, but not the stand-ups the whole way through. But this is one like I was just glued to the stand-up the whole time. Highly recommend.
As you talk about it, I'm realizing that I have watched that, and it is fantastic. Yeah.
Fantastic. And a little bit of trivia.
Double that.
His second wife, so when he remarried, either last year or this year, I can't remember, but he married the main actress from Dream a Little Dream, which was a Corey and Corey movie from the late 80s.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just a random bit of trivia, because I remember seeing and thinking, she looks familiar, and it was one of those random 80s movies I would watch a lot, as one of these Corey and Corey movies, just because it had a lot of heart, and it has just the really over-the-top corny musical number with Corey Feldman lip-syncing and dancing in a gym like he's Michael Jackson, but it's to this song, Dream a Little Dream of Me.
Wow.
And she's just kind of like giggling the whole time.
I have never seen this, and I saw a lot of like Corey and Corey movies.
That's a light recommend, because he's like, you're going to be
Right.
instantly taken back to like the John Hughes era of teen stories. But it was a good watch back when
It's a nostalgic recommend. There you go.
Yeah. So
All right.
I think we did it. Yeah. Well, now we pivot from that and go to the social media aspect. Where can people find you, Jeff Glover?
I am, of course, on the Twitter. I am Carl_Hungus314. Come follow me there. Jeff Glover on the Twitter sphere.
My name is College Bin Expert.
Sweet sphere wreck.
Where can we find Predator Minute on the interwebs?
Well, you can find Predator Minute talking about the upcoming releases of Ultra Boost on Twitter at Predator Minute. I'm a big sneaker Twitter follower. So, yeah, once I find the people who are tweeting out specifically the Ultra Boost releases, I am on those, making all sorts of comments and connections and looking forward to. Yep, looking for those links.
Give me those links. Anybody got those links?
You got any more of those links? But you can start a discussion or join a discussion over on Facebook at the Predator Minute Listeners Palapa. Target the center of the Palapa.
Target the center of the Palapa.
Target the center of the Palapa.
Target's the center of the palapa.
You can also
sound like you're out of breath when you do.
I know. I was trying to say it off in the distance because in the movie it's very much like under all of these explosions, nobody's going to hear him say that.
He's right.
He's like, target the. Okay, we're just targeting everything. We're Dylan. Yeah,
aiming for it. Yes.
Target's the center of the palapa.
Feel free to email the show any traps that you've successfully or unsuccessfully set in your days. And did I say predatorminute@gmail.com?
If you didn't, you did now.
I just did now.
Just did it. All right. Well, thanks, John. That was a good.
Hey, thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
For Predator Minute, I've been John Zabriskie.
And I am Jeff Glover.
And until next time.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
There we go. Woo. Nice. That was a one-taker right there. I didn't know if you're going to go there. The classic stick around.
Oh, I just went for it. I just did it. It was a last-second decision.
Nice. Probably the name of the episode, let's be honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you kind of have to at this point.
It's using the trees, watching and waiting, killing us off one by one. The chopper is close, but this thing is too fast. We won't make it, it's pointless to run. Talk, no more games.
I don't know what it was. The jungle came alive.
Go on.
It happened very fast. Not easy to describe, but you must have wounded it, unless my eyes deceive. When the big man was killed, its blood was on the leaves.
If it bleeds, we can kill it. She discovered the key. There is proof we can wound it. So repeat after me. If it bleeds, we can kill it.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Here now, take a stand.
Here now, take a stand.
We can bring down this basket.
We can bring down this basket.
If we stick to the plan. If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Something's out there.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Two or three men out there at the most. Am I the only one who's awake? I don't believe in goblins and ghosts. Fucking listen, give me a break.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
An expendable asset.
Yeah, now take a stand.
I woke up, why don't you?
So instead of complaining,
out bullshit's not gonna
you should
work.
give us a hand.
I got nothing better to do.
I saw it. God damn it, those eyes, they disappeared. It cut down my friend and it ran while I emptied that gun. If it bleeds, we can kill it. I saw it, goddammit.
Stop shaving, you don't have a beard.
That thing will come back, and when it does, I'm gonna have me some fun. If it bleeds, I'm gonna have me some fun.
If it bleeds, if it bleeds.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
We can pull out the wind.
We can pull out a wind.
Set a trap for the monster.
Set a trap for the monster.
While we still have our skin.
While we still have our skin.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
2 or 3 men out there.
I believe it can fall.
I'm the only one who's awake.
When you're feeling downhearted,
afraid of no man.
just remember the call. If it bleeds, we can kill it. Now it's all up to me. Mud all over my body, so the bastard can't see. It's a solo campaign now. Get revenge for my name. Hawkins, Mac, and Ramirez, Billy Dillon, and Blair.